Hello and welcome back, my beautiful froggy army, to another video. With the new 3.0 update for Animal Crossing and New Horizons, we have got a bunch of new additions. We've got new content, new features, but we also have new villagers and new items. This is huge news for the decorating fans of Animal Crossing New Horizons, including myself, who, as you know, if you've been around on this channel before, I love to decorate. I love a good Animal Crossing theme. I have never gotten bored of the core epidemic, cottage core, forest core, fairy core. I don't care if it's cringe to call it a core. I love it. And with these quirky new villagers and what seems like multiple new furniture sets, it has all gotten the wheels turning in my little decorating brain. It has got me thinking, how can we have these villagers on our island? How can we incorporate them with other villagers? What other villagers would look good on that villager list with them? What themes could we do with these new villagers? What themes could we do with these new items? How do we incorporate all of these things together? So I have just gotten a giant brain dump of a slideshow that I kind of want to go through with you, if that's okay. I'm going to give you some theme ideas that you could potentially do because of the new 3.0 update if you want to maybe restart your island before the update comes out. I'm going to be giving you some villager suggestions of other villagers that you could incorporate with the new villagers, and I'm going to give you some theme ideas and some decorating suggestions, some item suggestions, and some suggestions and ideas to tie all of that together in a nice big bow. So if you're interested, keep on watching, and if you like Animal Crossing content just like this, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. I have a lot of yapping to do, so let's get started. So first up, we have Minoru as the first villager we're going to be talking about. As you can see on the screen, there's a bunch of villagers surrounding Minoru, and this first slide is kind of like, what other villagers could you get if you're going to get Minoru on your island? The vibe that I get from Minoru is kind of a little bit foresty. I'm going to go pretty forest core-ish with all of these suggestions, but as you may notice, I don't really have like the basic deer, you know? I don't have Maple on here. Where's Eric? Where's Bo? Where's Fauna? You could totally have those villagers with Minoru. I mean, obviously Fauna would be a really good match because they're both deer, but since Minoru has a lot of details on her, she's got lots of accessories, she's got some facial markings, she has a really detailed outfit, I felt like some villagers that would really match her and kind of fit the vibe are villagers that have some details on them as well. I picked a couple villagers that have some sort of like facial or body markings, or maybe some quirky horns or some silly little stripes, stuff like that. Again, these are all just very big suggestions, and I really wanted to do villagers that maybe you didn't really think about, you know? Because if you're gonna go forest core for Minoru and include Minoru on a forest core island, then yeah, of course you're gonna throw in Maple and Fauna and some more deer and, you know, everyone like that. But I just wanted to give a little bit more quirky suggestions because I feel like Minoru just has that little bit of quirkiness to her. And quirky is starting to not feel like a real word anymore. But yeah, these are just some jumping off points, maybe some inspo. And of course, I think Tulin matches perfectly to go in there with Minoru, so I would always include Tulin. I would always include the both of them together as a pair. I just think that they work really well. Well, for the most part. I think one of my next slides actually has them not as a pair. But speaking of next slides, here is an idea for you of a 10 villager lineup and a theme that you could do. I'm calling this one Whimsical Forest Core. So instead of just green and brown, I'm thinking purples, I'm thinking more of a tealy green, some gray. Of course, there's brown in there as well, but kind of like a mystical forest vibe, a whimsical forest. I would definitely have a lot of star fragments, a lot of mushrooms, lots of trees, of course, as well. You know, it's forest core, duh, but also things like hidden in the trees, lots of little mini builds, stuff like that. So we've got some little froggies in the forest with Prince and Wart Jr. I think Sylvana is kind of a little bit of a more detailed squirrel, but you could choose any squirrel, really. Coco, I feel like, is just such a perfect pick. She is just quirky and matches with Minoru so well. I don't know, I just feel like they both are like NPCs in like a video game. Well, they are NPCs in a video game, but you know what I mean. They're both very mysterious, and I feel like they just match each other very well. Same with Roswell, he's a little mysterious, you know? He's got all those stripes on him. Maybe change out his shirt, it's a little too tropical. You've also got Avery, who also has a lot of markings on him, and I feel like he also matches really well with Minoru because he's also, you know, gray, and he does have quite a lot of details, so I feel like he matches really well. Of course, Tulin's in here as well, he just goes perfectly. Dobie matches as well. I feel feel like he is the wise grandpa character to match with all of this mysterious lore that's going on in this whimsical forest. And then we've also got Zell because I like his little horns and I just feel like I like that extra detail on him, but you could totally swap him out for another deer. Again, this is just an idea. This is just totally me loving making lists in my head, and I just wanted to put it into sort of like a little collage format for you. So feel free to steal this. Feel free to do this villager lineup if you feel like it. I feel like this would be such a fun theme to do. Moving on, I've got another idea for you for another forest core villager lineup. This one I'm calling basic forest core. This one just has Tulin. I feel like he's a little more happy-go-lucky, less mysterious than Minoru, and I wanted to pick some more happy-go-lucky-esque villagers, except for Marshall. He's always annoyed, but we're just gonna ignore him. So the color palette for this one is a lot simpler. It's just gonna be that light brown slash tan slash beige, whatever you want to call it, and then we've got the green, and then we've got white. Instead of like a wild forest filled with secrets, this is like maybe more of a manicured forest. Maybe there's some pretty little cabins with really nice yards built out on them. It's still a forest, but hey, there's some signs of life and civilization and lots of pretty twinkling lights everywhere. And it's more of like a cozy forest vibe, but versus mysterious. And a little more cutesy, I would say, even though we do have Coco here still staring into our soul, but she just fits the color palette, so we're throwing her in here too. Moving on, here is a little more of a mood board, inspo board for a forest core island theme that you could do with Minoru and Tulin. This is unrelated to the first two slides in the sense of like, this is not the whimsical theme I was talking about, and this is not the basic forest core I was talking about. Although I guess it could be the basic forest core, but I don't know. I was just putting items and it's just a mood board. I don't know. Totally separate. Of course, incorporating some of the new items, like on the bottom left, you can see that little like ruins statue thing. We've also got the sword as well. I feel like that fits really, really well. And then some of the rupees as well. And I would definitely include that little flower item that was shown on the trailer as well. Of course, include as many of these Zelda items as you want to. I feel like this would be really, really fun to do, and I low-key want to do it. And you could totally do a mini version of any of these things that I'm talking about on any of the Slumber Islands. Like, if this motivates you, but you don't really want to like do anything, just wait and just do a mini version on one of the small or medium islands on the Slumber Islands. I feel like that'll be really fun, and that's definitely what I'm going to be doing. Moving on, the second theme that you should totally be keeping in mind to try for the new 3.0 update is Kid Core. Of course, Cece and Viche are the perfect additions for a Kid Core island. They are literally cosplayers, like they literally fit in so well. So I feel like you could totally add them to any Kid Core villager lineup, no problem, and they can easily fit in. So like pretty much any brightly colored villager will fit in on a villager roster with them so perfectly. These are just some suggestions right here and some of my favorite Kid Core villagers. As you know, you may recognize very many of them from islands that I have had. And I know it's not very revolutionary of me to suggest Kid Core and Forest Core. It's kind of obvious, like, yeah, if you just look at these new villagers and these new items, like, duh, these are the themes that fit perfectly with them. But I mostly just wanted to give you some ideas because maybe you thought of doing Kid Core, but you didn't really know exactly what to do, or maybe you see one of these lists that I make and you're like, oh, that totally inspires me to do something. That's kind of the goal with this. Moving on to a 10 villager lineup idea that you could totally do. I thought this was really, really fun. You could do 2 color Kid Core and you could have a whole island theme that is based off of just 2 colors, yellow and blue. You could play into kind of like that pairing because, you know, they're kind of a pair, and then you could have just a pair of 2 colors, just yellow and blue. You could even split your island down the middle and have the left side be yellow and the right side be blue, or vice versa. Also, I know Tangy and Stitches aren't exactly yellow, but just it's fine. It's fine. They're just great villagers. Okay, I wanted to suggest them. But any yellow Kid Core-ish villagers could work. Any blue Kid Core-ish villagers could work. I was kind of struggling to find villagers that were the same shade of blue as her. I feel like Jeremiah's darker spots were the closest, and Phil was kind of close. He's a little more purpley. I was kind of struggling to find an exact match though. Bonus points for Wendy because she is blue with yellow horns. So again, yellow and blue together. Same with Mira. She is yellow with the blue inside of her ears. So bonus points, you know, when they kind of like have details that match the opposite color. I really, really like that. And another idea that I think is so so fun and that I love when people do is rainbow villagers. Oh, I love it when people have a colored villager that matches every color of the rainbow. So we've got Kit Kat for red, Stitches for orange, of course. We've got Viche for yellow, Scoot and Drago are going to be our greens. We've got Cece for blue, also Hopkins for a lighter blue. And then Judy is going to be our in-between. As you can see, she's both blue and purple pinky. So she just counts as two colors, I guess. And then we've got Rod for purple and Marina for pink. And I just think this would be so fun. And then you could just do just a totally rainbow island, or just regular kidcore would work, you know, whatever works. But yeah, please somebody do this idea. Please, it doesn't even have to be with these exact villagers, but please somebody do this. It would be so cute. Moving on, here's a little bit of a mood board for some furniture ideas that you could do for kidcore. I went with more of a primary color focus for this mood board because those Lego items are just primary colors, and I think it works really well with both Cece and Viche. We've even got some of the Zelda items in here as well with the Majora's Mask. I think it fits in. It stands out a little bit because it's got the purple, but it's okay. And then of course we can use all of the rupees everywhere. Also the little yellow Splatoon squid thingy. I don't even know what that is, but that's gonna fit so perfectly. But yeah, if you want to also incorporate some of that new Lego set, then this is gonna be absolutely perfect. I mean, I feel like everybody needs to be doing a kidcore island after this update. That's just my personal opinion. I really want to do a mini kidcore island just like this. It'll be so fun. So feel free to steal this idea. I think it'll be tons of fun. You can also incorporate a ton of the Mario items because they are also primary color. You can do the shell, you can do the little star, the mushroom platforms, the coin. It's all gonna kind of work together, and we're just gonna have lots of like Nintendo things in here. Last but not least, we don't really have any villagers to go alongside this slide, but I did want to suggest a final theme of city core because of all of the new items that we're getting that would perfectly fit in with city core. This new furniture set that we're getting, I forget what it's called exactly, but the one with all of these like bars on it, I feel like it has such a modern, clean city core vibe. So that's kind of the city core I was going for, kind of like modern city. And I feel like some of the Splatoon items are going to fit in really well. They're kind of like more mechanical, kind of like little machines that fit in within a city. So lots of like metal here, lots of things with bars on them, lots of cars. The Splatoon locker with the graffiti fits perfectly. That new plant also fits in with that gray variant of the pot. So yeah, I feel like you could do a really fun, like very clean city core island here. I didn't have any villager suggestions that I put together for this because we don't have any like new villagers that are coming out that would match this theme, I guess. But off the top of my head, I mean Raymond. Raymond is my first pick. I would choose villagers with more neutral colors and bonus points if they're wearing some sort of like business casual or collared shirt. It just kind of fits in with that city vibe. So I hope that some of this was inspiring or gave you some sort of ideas. This is just a big brain dump that I had. A lot of ideas floating around in my head and I just wanted to share, and I love making these little mood boards. It's just so fun. So I hope you got some ideas for maybe some things to do, some plans of attack for the 3.0 update. Again, even if it's not for your own island, even if it's just for like a little mini slumber island that you want to do, I hope that this could help. Hey, maybe I'll even do a city core island on one of those small slumber islands. That would be fun. Anyways, I'm gonna get going, but don't forget to like this video and subscribe on your way out. I super duper appreciate you for doing that. Thank you so much again for watching, and I will see you in the next one.